Hey everyone, Sycra here, and in this video I'm going to be doing something a bit different by drawing some creature designs using a hero brush pen. And I really don't do creatures much at all, but I need to create some for a project, so yeah, I'm going to do them now. Normally I wouldn't even show these because I don't draw creatures, and I don't use this particular brush pen. But I started thinking, like, maybe the fact that I'm not comfortable with it, and I don't know, I consider myself like a beginner in this subject matter, maybe that will be more useful to people who, I don't know, maybe you're in my shoes and you're starting out or something. And it also gives me a chance to put my money where my mouth is regarding iterative drawing and, follow my own advice. So anyway, the creature I'm creating, it's supposed to be something like a cross between a llama and a camel and maybe a gazelle or something. But I still want it to look unique. Like, I don't want it to look like, oh yeah, that just looks like a llama, camel llama, gazelle. And anyway, it lives in the desert. And people ride on it, and it has two long straight horns coming out of the center of the head. And yeah, so the first step with my iterative approach is just to draw from imagination. So this first page that I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. I'm just letting ideas flow, and I'm trying to imagine what this creature would look like. And because I'm not using reference, at this point, I'm kind of lost. And the design's probably going to be pretty inaccurate. Like, it's not going to be correct, for sure. But I'm hoping, because I'm not using reference, that maybe it's going to be more unique, or I'll come up with some, I don't know, more novel ideas. And when I do bring the reference, I'll have more questions to ask. So I feel this is super important. Okay, if I didn't draw this page from imagination and I just went straight to reference, what I feel like I'm more likely to do is just end up copying, and I might just create a design that looks like a bunch of animals mashed together. And I see this a lot with creature designs where it looks more like a chimera than an original design. Like, I don't want my thing to look like, oh, this is the head of a llama and the neck of a camel or something like that. So anyway, that's why I'm doing the design process in this way. And I'm also trying to get different kinds of views, front views, side views, back views. I don't know. Even without using any reference, it's kind of, I still want it to feel like it could work somehow. Like, I'm not just drawing ideas without thinking about them at all. I'm still thinking, well, okay, so if someone's going to sit on its back, maybe its back is straight. So, okay, I've got that. The back is straight. And I seem to recall a llama has a straight back, whereas, a camel has a humpy back. And then what I'm just thinking is a lot of shapes. Like, you'll see in the one I just did, there's an S for the head, like the head going into the neck. And I don't think that looks quite like a llama, but it is something that's like, oh yeah, maybe this would look nice as a shape. And now what I'm doing is I'm pulling out the reference and actually looking at a llama, and I'll see that, okay, so the skeleton is that the neck in the skeleton is sort of S-shaped, but it looks pretty straight up and down when you just look at the neck with the fur and everything on top. And as I said, I have more questions to ask. So basically, it's like, what am I doing right and what am I doing wrong? And the things I'm doing wrong, I'm going to pay more attention to. For instance, the ears, I felt I didn't quite get the ears right. When I look at a llama anyway. And this is also going back to that thing of, oh, you don't want to just copy. So it's kind of not good to use, well, in my opinion, it's not good to be too reliant on reference and to get too stuck on what this actually looks like. Because that's when I feel you end up sacrificing your own unique ideas and you start creating that is it chimera or chimera? Anyway, that thing. The thing where it's like, well, it's got the head of a lion and the tail is a snake. I think the tail is a snake. I don't even think it's like a snake's tail. I think it's a snake's head. So, okay, so the chimera, if it is a snake's head, what does it look at? Just itself pooing, right? Huh. Anyway, so, yeah, one of the ideas is going back to my own thing in chimeras, or chimera, whatever. I kind of have this idea that maybe it's got fur, like woolly fur, and maybe it doesn't, because it's a desert animal, so I'm not sure on that. And I will do research, like, it doesn't just end here, but this is a jumping off point. And I feel like doing a ton of designs, not doing one finished piece, is really good for creativity. It helps you explore, it helps you get less precious, and I'm more likely to just do a drawing, see something that could be better, and then redo it, than if I spent a lot of time on this. Like, let's say I just did one drawing, or maybe even just one or two, especially if I take it really far and I start rendering it, and then I go ahead and see, oh, well, this part's wrong, but I already spent like 3 hours rendering it, so I'm more likely to just leave it and say, oh, let's just run with it. And that's not a good thing to do. It's not a good habit. But just being honest, that's how I kind of feel. Like, if I spent more time, I'm less likely to change it. And then using the brush pen, it's, I guess, one of the things I have been dealing with lately is this idea that I'm just doing too much of the same thing. Like, oh, all I do is girls, and they're supposed to be sexy, or there's this pointy, actiony stuff, and I don't do anything else. I don't draw environments and cars and I don't know, anything else. And I don't know. It's tough because I feel like people should just do what they want to do. They don't necessarily have to draw what other people want them to do. Whenever I hear someone say, oh, to another artist, whether this person's an artist or not, when I hear them say like, oh, you should do this, I always feel like, but that's what you want them to do, so why don't you do that? Why should they do that? But at the same time, I also think about how, well, it is good to try different things, to move out of your comfort zone and not get super stuck in it. So I figured, instead of fighting between the two of, oh, should I just be doing what I like to do and using the tools that I like, or should I be experimenting? It's like, just experiment. It'll be easier this way to just get it out, get it over with. And here what I'm doing is a little silhouette just to get the shape, and then I'm going to try something that's very different. So this one the first one had a very tall neck. So I'm giving this one a shorter neck. But the first one I did, the legs and both the front legs and the hind legs were close together. And so second one, I moved them further apart, and it's like, oh, okay, so that looks more horse-like, maybe unicorn-like. I don't know. And just random circles. I do circles and ellipses to practice my hand skills, to make sure I have good draftsmanship, I guess. And it's because you use these shapes so much, especially with perspective. You use ellipses a ton. So it's good to just have practice with them. But I find I also do that whenever I'm just filling up space now. In pages where I see empty space, I tend to add ellipses. So now what I'm doing is I have the original design-ish, like it's close, but I wanted to simplify it. And I feel there are some big advantages to simplification. And sometimes people view simplification like, oh, you're making it more cartoony or something. I don't think of it that way. What I view with simplification is you are making the design more strong. And the other thing you're doing is you're making it so it's easier to replicate. You can see each time I draw this design, because I've done it before and because it's simple, I can not only draw it faster, but I can also experiment more. So see, the first one had its head up, and then this one has the head down. Now, if I didn't get the body so it was easy, then when I draw the head down, I'm also thinking of the body. I'm thinking like, well, how would that look? Whereas in this case, I have less parts to worry about. And so I thought, okay, so what if this thing is drinking? What would that look like? And also going back to the idea of a person writing this. And okay, so if a person is writing this, how tall is that person? And I don't think I did this in the smartest way, but I basically drew someone sitting down and then drew them standing up and then moved them, like drew them standing up again. I guess if this was Photoshop, I could just not Control T, but just select around it and then move it down, move the figure down so I'd get an accurate scale. But since this is traditional, you can't really do that. And then for this, I just wanted to, get a sense of the character of this animal. Maybe the guy, a person anyway, is interacting with this animal, and how would that be? How would that look? How tall would they be? Would the animal bend its neck? In this case, I guess it would have to bend its neck to be at the same height as the person. And with this animal, I'm thinking like it's kind of camel-like or llama-like in that it's goofy looking, like it's lame, it's not cool. I don't want it to be too cool. I want it to be a funny animal. I want it to be an animal where if it opens its mouth, it looks kind of stupid, like ugly teeth, and I don't know, maybe it smells. And here I'm drawing again the shape, the basic shapes, and you'll notice it's made up of a lot of triangles and diamond shapes and stuff. I find that in the human figure and in everything, like everywhere I look, I see diamonds and triangles. I don't know if that's because I went too insane with my pointy chins thing, if I'm just gotten to the point that everything has become triangles to me. But I do think these shapes are very common, more so than squares and circles. I see triangles in places. I guess I could see cylinders, but like when I see an arm, I don't see a cylinder. I see triangles, diamonds and stuff. Yeah, so here, it's opening its mouth and I'm going for a certain expression, and I think I kind of captured it. So yeah, the anatomy is not perfect and stuff, but the feeling's there, and I can always work on this more and get the anatomy perfect. So I don't know. Hope this helped, and thanks for watching.